All right, it's Kate Stillman, and I'm back on the next topic, which is manage your time, manage your projects, which is also kind of manage your peeps. So let's get into this because I know for so many people who take my courses, there's a lot of these nuts and bolts that are not taken care of before you come into the program. And so often, what happens for people in my programs is that during the journey, you learn how to manage your time and manage your projects and manage your peeps, your assistants, your virtual contractors. For some of you, you don't have those people yet, but you dream of a day when someone might help you do stuff that you're not so good at yourself and don't have that much interest in, but will very much help you develop your career. So let's just break this down into some steps. The first one is, if you're in my program, focus, commit to this program and don't get distracted by other programs. I know there's so many shiny objects out there. And I definitely have issues with shiny objects syndrome myself, but this is the deal. If you really want to get the most out of the program that you've invested your money in, you're investing your time in, then don't say yes to other programs right now. Just concentrate. There's so much to do here, and we need you to get organized and get things done. So also see how much you can not say yes to other projects, okay, for the duration of the time that you're with me. I have seen people in the past overcommit themselves when they're in my programs, and it doesn't work. It's just way too hard, and they get frustrated and overwhelmed, and it turns out to be just it's just hard. So why make it hard on yourself? Right? Just commit to this. Just do this. There's a reason you're in here. I know what you want out of this. I've built it for you to get what you need out of this program. So just commit. So now what we're going to look at is how to use your time, because chances are in this program, you're going to be using your time differently than you have in the past. When you're up-leveling your career, you need to refine the way you use your time. So one of the first things you can do is start to close out activities that don't produce as much income and feel like they're a drag on you. So you're going to want to pare down and open up as much time as you possibly can in your calendar to complete this program well. I'm going to repeat that. You're going to want to just pare down your schedule to open up time for you to take the action steps in this program. And if you do that, it's going to be easy to succeed. It's built for you to succeed. Okay? So in the interim, you may be in transition with income, but we can plan for that now. So as you start to close out activities that don't produce as much income, you're going to open up time in your schedule for major leverageable income producing activities. And that's really what we're looking for. So how to use your time. We want to look at the number of hours you need to do non-course building type work, not, work that's not really part of this program. So if you're teaching, if you're seeing clients, etc., and maybe the amount of time you need to spend on project management for projects that you already have going on to get those to completion and wrap those up, it's important to look at your schedule and start to manage your time really well. And I'm going to get into a few details in terms of how to do that next. As much as you can pare down the number of hours that you are producing income and make those the most highly productive income producing hours, and start to delete or delegate the rest, probably the more money you're going to make in more quickly throughout this process. That's absolutely what I find every time I decide to boost my income. Okay, I have to get really honed in on how I use my time, and I have to up level how I use my time, which is like a complete overhaul. So I'm going to give you some of the most basics on this. First of all, use a digital calendar. If you're, and some of you might be like rolling your eyes like, oh my gosh, duh. But others of you are still using paper. You're still using like a book. It's really problematic. You cannot share a book with a virtual assistant. You cannot see your marketing calendar at the same time that you see your appointment calendar for clients or your teaching calendar. A digital calendar will allow you to do this. Okay. The other thing is how you use your calendar. We're going to get into that so that you start to schedule specific project work in your calendar and give yourself deadlines, and other people that are helping you out, that are contracting work with you, to give them deadlines as well. Okay, so let's just take a look at here. This is my calendar. And what I'd like you to see, this is a weekly view. See up here, I can check off the day, the week, the month, or 7 days. I can just toggle back and forth between different views. If I just want to see 7 days, I can do that. When I'm on any day and I want to just see what's going on today, I come over here and I click today. This is a Google Calendar. You can also use an iCal. You can use Microsoft Outlook. There's a lot of different options. The important thing is that your calendar has sharing capacity so that you can share it with different team members. Let me just show you that. So multiple calendars and shared calendars. These are a few of the calendars that I use. So Kate Stillman, this has almost everything that has all of my Yoga Healer work on it. Body Thrive Coaching, this is where I can see what's going on in terms of my Body Thrive coaches and where they're at and what's on the schedule and how many coaches are coaching. Indy's calendar, very helpful for me to know what's going on with her and not have that on my work calendar. So right now it's not even selected. If I were to select it, then we could see what Indy's got going on this week. Marketing and content calendar, that's just so that I can really schedule out even up to a year in advance what I'm going to be marketing, what I'm going to be posting on my blog, when I'm going to be having guest speaker interviews for my podcast, etc. That does also not need to be on my Kate Stillman calendar, which is really my Yoga Healer calendar, because I might not want to see all that, right? But it's going to be really useful for when I do want to see all that to on-click my Kate Stillman calendar and just click on my marketing calendar. Okay, so even if you don't need this many calendars right now, you will grow into a place where you're definitely going to need a marketing and content calendar, and you're definitely going to need that to be separate than your other calendar. So why not just switch now? The other thing is that other people can use your calendar. So for me, I like to have other people be able to schedule things for me. Right here, you can see in this calendar, YHC free call, YBC call, that's the business course, LAC call, that's Living Ayurveda course. Here's YHC, yoga health coaching call. So I don't have that many teaching calls a week, but I generally have about 6 a month, okay? I actually don't schedule those. I don't want to schedule those. I can pay someone less than $10 an hour to schedule all those for me and hook it up into the conference call software that I use, which is Maestro Conference. It's a very simple task for someone. They get very specific guidelines on how to do it, and then they do it. So I never have to do that again, which I love. I love not having to do that. And so that's just an example of how being able to share access to your calendars with a virtual assistant, you might not see how that you'll need that now, but down the road, it very much may behoove you. Okay. So that's just a few reasons why you're going to want to switch to a digital calendar if you haven't already. I know some people are sort of like wary about the Google system, but I really find it's very efficient for me and my team to use Google Docs, to use Google Calendar, Google Drive, Google Hangouts, and even Gmail, so Google Mail. And that whole system has really worked well for us. If you don't want to use that system, I would choose another system where you can do a lot of different things. If you don't know which one to choose, please just choose Google. They've thought about a lot of this stuff for you, and it's easy to, buy space, have things backed up. Most contractors are used to working in Google Docs. So, why not just join the masses? Okay, next let's talk about inbox management. Because often what happens is there's things that go between our calendar and our inbox. That's how we manage projects. So we're also going to look at project management. So inbox management's a big deal. I mean, I used my inbox to manage projects for way too long. Like way too long. Like I'd say a decade or so too long. And why? Because sadly enough, I never learned project management. I'm kind of surprised too, because I had a great education. I went to a great college. I'm not sure how I managed all my coursework without a good project management tool. And chances are I didn't do it very well. I know many people in my courses, I've polled people in my courses, and I found out that about 95% of people are using their email inbox and their calendar to manage their projects and instead of a project management tool. So that's a problem. I want to show you what my inbox looks like right now. See, it's empty. Isn't that beautiful? Now there's a number of things that are filed away, but there's no tasks there. Let me show you, on the other hand, what putting together this course, which is very similar to putting together your pilot project, or for those of you who are in yoga health coaching, to putting together your yoga health coaching pilot project, what it looks like. And it looks like, see, that there's a number of tasks that need to be done. There's even some due dates. There's even some tasks that are assigned to other people. You can see down here, Bhushan has to deal with some opt-in videos. Natasha has to add videos to a website section. Dushko has to add remaining affiliate links. Natasha's got to edit the tech tip sheet. Like, there are things to be done. There's things completed over here. There's a number of current to-do lists that have to do with this particular project. There's 5 lists that have to do with this one project. We're only seeing 3 to-do lists here. And in each to-do list, we're seeing a number of different things. Now, that's really, it's a really much more effective way to manage a project than trying to bounce back and forth between things that are in your inbox. Also, when you are in your inbox, there's things that are totally unrelated to the project that you're working on. There might be emails that you need to get back to respond to for certain people. There might be information that you need to move certain projects forward. They're totally unrelated to those emails that you have to get back to. There might be a bunch of newsletters that you want to use and read for later. For those, I recommend using onroll.me. Okay, I'm going to actually add that so you can see that. That's onroll, UNROLL.me. So unroll me is like unsubscribing you. But the thing is, with Unroll, they'll send you an email of all the different newsletters that you've subscribed to, but you don't want to see in your inbox. It's a beautiful thing. Okay. Now, when there's something to do on one of my projects, I'm actually going to use my project management tool and I'm going to assign it. So say Bhushan has to fix something on the YBC webpage, I'm going to put that in Basecamp. I'm not going to send him an email. He'll get an email through Basecamp, or he'll just check on what he has to do in his to-do list in Basecamp and see it there if he prefers not to have stuff go into his email box. Okay, so one other thing about the email inbox that can really help you manage your time is having a file of emails that you send. I use a text edit file. This file is about 10 pages long, and it's all cut and pieced emails I send that have to do with the different courses. You know, like a lot of them are very frequently asked questions, or they're the next stage in the process. So that it really cuts down the amount of time I email. I try to get on my email about twice a day. I'm going to clear my inbox to empty every single time because I love it when my inbox looks like this. That lets me know I'm done using my email. I try not to use my email at all to communicate anything that has to do with a project, right? Anything that, say I'm working on my website, then I'm not going to use my web guy's email ever. Right? I'm always going to use my project management tool. So we're going to get into that next because I know that's another really big deal. So I know Google and many other email programs have a different kind of like frequently sent email type of emails that you can select, and you can program those in. It's no big deal to do that. I suggest you either do that or you do something like this text edit doc. For anyone who's looking to really, grow a bigger kind of a business, you're going to soon have a customer support person that sends a lot of these emails. We share the same text edit doc, so she knows exactly what I'm going to be sending. You can do this by using, this is on a cloud, so she can pull it down from the cloud. We can each update it, etc. You can use a Google Doc for it and share that with your teammate. But even for those who don't have a virtual assistant now, but think down the line that, wow, I really would love to have someone help manage a lot of the more repetitive email information that I need to send out or respond to, then starting with a Google Doc where you can start to track the emails you send makes that project much easier to hand off down the line. I also put my frequent links in here. I just want to show you here, this one down here. Please click this link to schedule your 20-minute interview with Kate. That's what helps me bring people into my courses, right? I talk to people and I find out what they really want. If there's something I can help them with, if there's a course that I've built where I'll get to live interact with them on the coaching calls and help them learn through my webinars, then I'll make them an offer for that. If there's something else that I can suggest that will help them down the line, then I will do that on that 20-minute interview. So I try to have quite a number of those interviews a week. If you look at my schedule, I just want to show you a few things. How I block time. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Okay, so I know this week I'm working on the business course video, so I'm going to block time for that project. Finish YBC videos, finish YBC videos, finish YBC videos. I'm not going to put specific tasks in there. Instead, I'm just going to go, when it's time to do that, I'm going to go right into my project management tool. I use Basecamp. Many of you will be using Asana, Asana, either basecamp.com or asana.com. Has a free trial option. I suggest just signing up for one. You can watch a video comparing Basecamp to Asana and see which one you're going to like better. My experience is like none of them are perfect and it doesn't really matter. What matters more is you learning how to use whichever tool you select, and not just learning how to use it, but you committing to use it. And one of the big tips with committing to use a project management tool is to open it before you open your email. So you train yourself, instead of going to your email to figure out what's going on and what you need to do that day, and instead of going to your calendar to figure out what's going on and what you need to do that day, you go to your project management tool and see what's assigned to you that day, and then you look at your calendar, and then you hook things up, just like I have done here. You can totally integrate your project management tool with your calendar. I choose not to, but whatever works for you. The important thing is that you start to manage your projects not from your inbox and not from your schedule, but from your project management tool, which you synchronize how you see fit with your schedule. What I want to show you is that Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, which here's the condo pack day. We're packing up our condo and moving into our other condo. That those are days that I do not do those 20-minute interviews. The 20-minute interview days are days that I have on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I try to have all my phone calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's just what I've decided works for me. If I was teaching classes, I would try to schedule those teaching days. I would try to basically streamline my tasks as much as possible. Because all my work's on the phone, I just have 2 days a week where I'm on the phone like all day. The other days that I try to just do projects so I can really dive in. I want 2 to 3 hour blocks in order to work on a project. So I'm going to repeat that, 2 to 3 hour blocks. Because I don't want to just get into something, start getting forward, and then have to ditch it and go teach a class, right? I want to get into it. I want to move it forward. I want to set up my action steps for when I leave that project, that I know exactly what I'm going to need to do next. You never leave a project before you know what you're doing next on that project, because otherwise you're going to spend a half an hour when you go reopen that project trying to figure out what you've got to do next. So schedule your time in blocks. And remember the 80-20 rule, like that, 20% of your 80% of your income probably comes from 20% of your income generating activities. 80% of your income is coming from 20% of your income generating activities. So how can you start to cut out that other 80% of activities that don't really generate nearly as much income, so that you can start to free your blocks up to work on your projects? Okay. So this is a month at a glance. This is a little bit easier to see here how I have calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can see my YHC, LAC, YBC calls. Those are just happening on Tuesdays and on Thursdays. Team meetings I have on Wednesdays, and I get some coaching on Wednesdays as well. Fridays, look how beautifully open they are. So what I'm going to do when I'm in this month, what I'm going to do is look at what I've got going on that day, on that week, and look what's going on in my calendar, in my project management tool, and I'll just start to block massive amounts of time. So this is what it looks like after it's been blocked out, and this is what it looks like before it's been blocked out. There's just a lot of time. There's a lot of different ways to do this. You're going to want to watch the videos that are over in yogahealer.com/videos. Okay, so right here, yogahealer.com/videos. I've created a special section of YouTube videos that will really help you. You see the one over here, Project Management? Idiot's Guide to Project Management. This woman is amazing, and she has a whole library of project management videos for you. You can learn from her all sorts of things. I've selected some of the ones that I think are going to serve you the most. Schedule an hour right now in your calendar to watch project management videos and start to learn how to manage projects. And you might in there say, like, how do I want to synchronize my project management tool with my calendar? There's going to be ways that, often too, you guys, it's through trial and error. It's through just figuring out what works for you that you figure out the next level of your system. Okay. What I want to say about this too, you guys, with project management is many of you will end up hiring a techie virtual assistant, those who don't have one already. Others of you might end up hiring just a virtual assistant to help with scheduling and customer service emails, and maybe a little bit of techie stuff as well in terms of someone who knows WordPress a bit and can change links or add blog posts or that sort of thing, manage social media, Facebook, etc. You're going to want to track what they're doing, really at a click. And let's just go over into my Basecamp right now. Let me see if we can zoom out. That'll just make it a little bit easier to see. So if I go at the top and I click on everyone, and I have a big team, many of you will have 2 people in here or 3 people in here. Let's just click on, I just clicked on Natasha, who helps me with my ebooks for each course. I can see her latest activity, which is basically whenever she's done something for me. I can see what's been done for me. I can see what's open for her. If I want to see what's overdue, I can click on that and see what's overdue. If I want to see what's going on this week, I click on that. So I can really have a good idea of what everybody is doing. Let's click on Bhushan next. He's my web guy. And I can see his activity from today, what he's been doing. I can see what's overdue. I can see what's going on for him this week. He's been working on the videos for you guys in this section. And we can also share files down here, okay, which is really, really helpful. So if I want to attach something to him, I attach it right in here. We try to keep everything inside of Basecamp. That's the one I use. Some of you will use Asana. Everything that we can, okay? If I want to see what's going on with me, I click on what's going on with me. All right, I hope that is helpful. So let's talk a little bit about appointment management, because whatever we can do to not just manage our projects, but start to open up spaces of time so that we can work on our projects, that's how we're going to start to really actually leverage our time for more income, but also just for more enjoyment, for what we really want to do. Everyone's probably had that experience where you've sent an email back and forth 2 or 3 times to find a time that works for both of you. That is so 80s. We have to stop doing that. Never, ever, ever again. So what you might see in my emails I send file is all the stuff that's at the very, very top of this document is schedule a 20-minute strategy session. There's the link. Schedule a 1-hour paid consultation. There's the link. Schedule a 30-minute paid consultation. Schedule a 3-hour VIP session, right? There's the link. All of these links go to different, let me just show you, different activities I have set up in my online appointment scheduler. I use TimeTrade. TimeTrade.com. I love this. Online appointment scheduling delivers great customer service. Like, that is really true. That helps me. It helps them. It makes everything easier. My virtual assistant has full access to my time trade account. If I have 1 million people scheduled on Thursday and Indy's sick and I just want to be with her, then I say, Liza, reschedule everybody on Thursday. Then I'm done. I put one task in Basecamp and I'm done. And she can handle the rest. I love that. A lot of you, this might sound like a fairy tale, but what I'm going to teach you to do throughout this whole course is to build this into your career. So now let's look at my time trade account. All those different activities, which are basically different lengths of appointment time and titles for appointment time, they're all set up in here. So we have the 1-hour podcast session. Say I want to interview someone for a podcast. There's a separate link that I send so that it shows up in my calendar as a podcast session instead of as a paid consultation. You may find you only need 2 or 3 different activities in here. Fine. Some of you might think you don't need this yet, but people are still calling you for an appointment. If anyone is calling you for an appointment, you need this. And what you want to do is have your voice message say, oh, and if you would like to schedule with me, go to katestillman.com/appointment. And then what you do is you can get a link from your time trade account, put that right in your version, your own personal version of katestillman.com/appointment, and have that link to say, hey, I am so glad you want to schedule with me. I can't wait to spend time with you. Click here to schedule. And for those of you who want payment up front, you can have a step in there, which is like buy an hour session. Click here. That might go to your PayPal account, or if you're using an online merchant service, then it would go there. Once you've received payment, you would automate the thank you link to go right to your time trade account. So that's a fancy way of saving yourself a ton of time. And many of you are saying to yourself, oh, but half my clients won't do that. They're just not online. You can incentivize people and give them the choice. You can say, okay, I'm raising my rates by 20%, but if you schedule with my online scheduler, you can get the same old rate, right? And so that's just me thinking off the top of my head exactly how I would handle that for clients that were giving me a little bit of pushback on shifting to an online scheduler. The beauty of having the online scheduler for your people is it's much it simplifies things. You get a reminder in your calendar, they get one in theirs. If they need to cancel, they can do that. You can set all your standards for cancellation right into the activity scheduled. So say you require a 48-hour cancellation notice, fine. You put all your terms right in there. And then it's really very clear to the people signing up and to you exactly what the terms are. Okay, this has been a jam-packed video. Many of you are going to need to listen to this 2 or 3 times, to watch it once or twice, or to view the slides. I highly recommend it. You have a number of action steps. Some of you may already have all this taken care of, in which case, congratulations, and take some time to upgrade your systems. Just take some time to clean things up. We all need to clean up our project management tool now and then, our emails I send files, etc. So take the time needed. For those of you who this is all new, let's just pause and take a deep breath. So in terms of priorities, I've laid them out in these action steps. The first one is going to be to switch to an online calendar. That's a big deal. That might take you a few weeks to get used to. The next thing you're going to want to do is to schedule time to do this course. When you're going to watch the webinars, listen to the audios, and do the action steps, I want you to block off time in your calendar for when you're going to be working on this course. The third thing is start using a project management tool. I recommend Basecamp or Asana. There's a new project management tool every week. Does the one matter? If you're using one, if it works for you, great. If not, start using one. Soon you'll figure out what you like and don't like about it. You may switch eventually. It's not hard to switch. They all have import-export options. Start using one. This course, I want you to organize as a series of projects. When you're going to do your action steps, when you're going to complete your action sheets, when you're going to reassign yourself tasks, all that needs to be in your project management tool so that you stay on top of it. You give yourself deadlines. You then hook your project management tool up to your calendar, either automatically or manually. You develop a system so that you schedule in when you are going to be working on what projects. You're going to watch the project management videos to make sure that your project management skills are up to snuff to be able to manage the projects of taking this course. You're going to manage your projects and contractors out of your project management tool, not your email. You guys, me and Winston have projects. It's my husband. We have our own projects. As soon as Indy's old enough, we're probably going to have our projects in our project management tool as well. So for Winston and I right now, we're working on a few things. We're working on a lot of stuff with banking and investment, and we live in 2 places, so there's a lot of stuff with taxes and Mexico and all that. We don't want to handle that out of email either. So he and I use the project management tool for that. Okay. So as much as you can get people out of your inbox and people that you have ongoing tasks and projects with, put it in your project management tool. For me, I'm writing a book. So the first thing I did with my editor is say, okay, we're opening up a new project in my project management tool because I don't want to have all these drafts sitting in my inbox. No, thank you. I like my inbox to look just like this. Empty, peaceful inbox. Okay. You're going to start an emails I send file. If you don't already have one, if you do have one, you're going to spruce it up, make sure it's accurate and has all the links. If there's someone that you're training in customer service, you're going to start sharing that file. And last but not least, you're going to start a time trade account to schedule your appointments. If you'd like to use a software besides time trade, that is just fine. I used a few that were very frustrating and settled on time trade because it's the easiest. It's the easiest for me and my team. You might find an easier one, whatever works for you. Just start to use one. Just promise me if you are a person that schedules any kind of appointments to use that. Now, the other thing is during this course, you're going to be scheduling strategy sessions. Just like I have those interview sessions up here in the emails I send file. You can see it. It's this top link, the very top link, 20-minute strategy session. Here it is. That's the link. That's the link we send out the most. Okay? So that's what gets people into my courses. You want to fill your courses. You're going to need to talk to a whole bunch of people to make sure they're a good fit for your course and make sure you're a good fit for them. You're not going to want to do that through your inbox. So you're going to use a online schedule tool. Okay? Choose one that works for you. Start to get to know it. And last but not least, and this isn't on there, but when you're using a new software, whether it's a project management tool, an online calendar, or an automatic scheduler, an online scheduler, watch the training videos. Put in your calendar and put in your project management tool. Like watch time trade videos. That's a task. Give yourself a deadline. Just like here, give yourself assign it to somebody, yourself, give yourself a day that you're going to do that. Okay? So that you start to hold yourself accountable for the things you need to do. Whenever you start using a new software, take time to watch the training videos. Otherwise, that whole software is going to be able to do so many things you don't know how, and you won't know how to use it well, and then you'll procrastinate in using it. Once you learn how to use it, set action steps. So you might then add to your calendar every day. The first thing that you do is to look at your project management tool, right? And then see if there's any other training videos you need to do, etc. So I hope this has been helpful. This is just a very much an intro to managing your time and managing your projects. It's so important that you get out of your inbox, that you use your calendar effectively, that you cut back on tasks that are not making your money and are sucking your time. And most importantly, that you just focus, commit to the program, use these beautiful software applications that make it very simple to organize your time and organize your projects so that you can get the most out of your career and the most out of your life and have plenty of free time to do that which you love to do in your free time. Okay, signing off, Kate Stillman with the Yoga Healer Business Course.